that he told me about the problem of water in Jackson. I didn't know anything about that, and thank you to do that. And I want to bring sister with us in this discussion. I introduced her before, and you are welcome, Sister Friedeland.
Friedeland. Thank you.
Okay. We're in discussion on public enemy and hip hop in his impact and influence in the Black conscience international level. I'm spoke from Spain, brother Kalonji Nalara, brother Akinyele Nalara, and sister Nkechi Taifa in Washington D.C. You know, you are there, and you are in Jackson. So we want to know about what's the influence of public enemy and hip hop in your consciousness to be activists or to fight for all people.
Yeah. So thanks again. I'm here in Jackson, Mississippi, in the belly of the Kush, right? The Kush district. Public enemy. Real talk, I think public enemy in similar ways as some other, later rappers, for me, artists, lyricists, for me, such as like our dear comrade and brother Tupac and some others. Public enemy really made it okay to be a revolutionary, to have revolutionary thoughts, to be a child that didn't just want to get some money, have nice clothes, but actually had a dream of like liberation and freedom and like taking care of each other and our people. Like it made me feel like that I was normal, that I wasn't an outsider, that I wasn't weird. It made me feel like my dreams meant something, and that there were other people in this world outside of my movement family who are on the phone right now, on this call right now, were teaching me. And so it Public Enemy had a great impact on my life. It popularized for many of us movement work, being Black and proud, and being strong and self-determined. And as a result, made it feel more okay as a young person. And mind you, I gotta say that, I am older, but I'm still young. So, in Public Enemy, I was like in, elementary/middle school. So I'm just gonna throw that out there a little bit.
Trying to pull a young card,
huh? Sister Soldier said that the Public Enemy was the real continuity of this Black vision of music in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And I remember me in my neighborhood, if you had not got a Public Enemy medallia, African medallia, you can come to what the people talking about, because everybody was talk like people, groups like MPMD, like this was they call Don't Call Me Negro. Akinyele, what's the name? What is the group say? Don't Call Me Negro. Wow.
Oh Lord.
It was Public Enemy teachers. They call them Africa Islam groups like this,
Right.
And
Zulu Nation.
Zulu Nation or Schoolie D.
Okay.
Yeah, Schoolie D.
It was Black from back in the day.
And red,
70s.
Red, black, and black flag. The first time I see this flag, it was in this record. I never see the flag in my life. The first time I went to buy the records and see the red, black, and green flag, and it was this record. And people like Chokwe Lumumba, Obafemi, all these people. It really was Akinyele who broke this kind of people here in Spain. Talk about Chokwe Lumumba at the Basque Country University, and we didn't know nothing about what he was talking about. But when we went to buy Public Enemy records, we see all these people in these records, and we begin to know that, oh, maybe he's not true. These people exist. Because it was the brother they call Aaron Michaels. He was the leader of the New Black Panther Party in that time. And Aaron Michael was still asked to give these people protections, Akinyele and Brother Makungu. And we didn't know how to do that because we was very young. We never did that. And he said, do you see Public Enemy video? But do like this. So everybody going to
So in other words, y'all about to die out there.
yeah.
Because they definitely were surveilling and watching us. And
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah, hey, y'all had
from
that
the
was like
time
new
we
Black
got to
Panther.
the airport, we ran into security. They searched my stuff, grabbed all my luggage.
Hey man.
And he said that, do you see the don't believe in the hype? I said, yes. He said, well, you do that like this. I said, okay. Okay, sister Rukia, in terms to know about Malcolm.
I'm gonna sign off right now, but I just appreciate being on the program. And we'll talk to you later. Rukia, I'll be in touch, and I should say Baba Kalonji, we'll be in touch.
Right on, brother.
All right, free the land.
Okay.
Free land,
I got about
brother.
2 more minutes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I want to make one question to sister Rukia in terms to she's member of the Malcolm X Riders movement. How the importance of hip hop and Public Enemy in terms to bring Malcolm X in your life and your existence and the people who are next to you?
Yeah, I mean that's a hard question to position Public Enemy in that regard, just because I come from a strong history of movement leaders, like Sister Nkechi here, who was one of my first teachers. I mean, my parents were reading me her book, her children's book, right? When I was growing up. So Malcolm was always in my life. I never know a time when studying Malcolm and understanding Malcolm X's legacy and work wasn't a part of my everyday learning. So I think Public Enemy contributed to that by, again, popularizing it for the rest of our people, right? Like when I would talk to my friends, they would know more about who I was talking about because they heard Public Enemy talking about it, because they saw the X, on Public Enemy's hats, on the caps that they would wear, because they saw the chains that they would wear, and that would spark conversation. Like, well, it gave us a reference point. How you see, Public Enemy rocking the X hat, in all the videos or in different things like that, that spark. That's how we could say, well, this is who we talking about. You're talking about Malcolm X, I think it also, helped to open up the way easier for funding for the movie Malcolm X to some extent. Now that's just me connecting very long distant dots, right? But I think that, as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I got to get ready to hop now, but I would just say, like what I said in the beginning, Public Enemy, hip hop, all like that. Rap didn't just drop from the sky. It's part of a continuum. The continuum from, like we talked about James Brown, or from the last poets, from Gil Scott Heron, Sonia Sanchez, and the like. And, things that we've been saying back then, the revolution will not be televised, revolution will not be televised, revolution will not be televised, revolution will be live. And so these things these were the precursors to Public Enemy and, the whole hip hop, the precursor to the golden age of hip hop, I would say. And I just want to conclude by saying, the music follows what's happening with the people. Okay. And I say when the music is strong, the people are strong. The music during the 60s and 70s was strong. People were strong. When Public Enemy and all came around, and people were really infused with this whole thing about the police and law enforcement and the brutality and the murders, killings, and all like that. People were in the streets and all like that, and the music complemented that. So I just want to, go leave it in the hands of the two very capable people who are there with you right now, my brother Abuy. But just want to say, we're still dealing with, FUCK the police.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
I gotta get you on the show soon. So
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
looking for you.
Just let me know.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
see you. Love you, Rukia, always and forever.
Peace.
Okay, let me
Free the land, love you.
free the land.
I think you're muted, brother.
Or frozen. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think you're on mute, my man. I don't think he hears us.
Abuy?
He getting down, whatever you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I still thank you for Kalonji. Thank you for Kalonji. Sister Cecilia, thank you. We're still here with two of the guests we have right here. Estamos en Uhuru, África, con dos de nuestros invitados hoy aquí, Kalonji y Rukia. Rukia nos habla desde Mississippi. Ella es hija del gran alcalde Chopo Lumumba y también es miembro del movimiento de Malcolm X, también dirigente histórica de esta organización popular. Sister Rukia, 2 months ago there was living a book here about the experience of you are doing in Jackson. It was a book written by one of the members of the organization. It was here in Spain, presenting the book and talking on the experience of the Jackson impact and all this. Okay, Kalonji, you want to say something about this question of music consume, in what Public Enemy sell many records, but it's still inside the capitalist, consume, because this is a strong contradiction, but at the same time, it's some kind of a capacity to do that, because not everybody has the capacity to do that, because Tupac and all the people that I met in a Million Men March, when the march was destroyed, and the Kali Muhammad called me, hey, Abuy, you see that Master P? I said, no, I don't know. I don't know Master P. And when it come Master P paid the money, because the Million Youth March, the day before, it was like cross, and it was brother Master P with his money who bring to make the march going with was the brother Khalid and other ones. Go ahead, brother.
You're asking about what was my thoughts on Public Enemy selling so many records and doing the work they were doing?
Yes, the discussion you have with and the same time the impact it has internationally, because it's still having political impact and revolutionary impact.
Yeah, I think for folks who weren't familiar with movement and struggle, I think that it was a necessary piece, and it was a different time. It was a time when myself being in the industry, you were looking for a record deal, because a lot of times you didn't have, these were young folks, you know what I'm saying? You didn't have all the political education you might have right now. But, my thing is, we have to eat, but I don't think that Public Enemy was out. They weren't doing car commercials. They weren't raking in $90 million and all that type of stuff. They were some young folks that was trying to make it out of Roosevelt, Long Island. They were trying to spread a message. And I don't think that, we all have contradictions. I think that some contradictions outweigh others. We're in a capitalist society. Unfortunately, we talk socialism. We talk about African scientific socialism, but we speak English and we walk around with dead white folks in our pocket. You know what I'm saying? With their ancestors. So it's a lot of things we would like to do, but reality sets in. I'm African to the core, but I'm not interested in living in Africa. You understand what I'm saying? That may be a contradiction to some. You know what I'm saying? Also like nice things. I drink fine wine and good whiskey. You know what I'm saying? I like to live comfortably. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that, and I tell folks quick, I think that our ancestors struggled enough. We don't have to be in a struggle. We need to be in a movement. And I think that one of the things that we do is we judge each other based on these unrealistic expectations, and we set ourselves up for failure because we want folks to do things that oftentimes we're not even capable of doing. And down the line, folks find out like, oh man, this guy, he talking about all this stuff right here, but then he does this, or this one's saying they vegan and they wear Jordans, or whatever the case is. You meet people where they at. I think that during that particular time period, groups like them and X-Clan and Brand Nubian to an extent, and later on Dead Prez, they added on to the efforts that many of us were already making. And I think that as organizers, what we must do, like I mentioned earlier, is we have to be able to take whatever tools we can and make them work in the interest of the people. We got to be able to take our petty bourgeois tendencies and flip them and say, okay, boom, I'm going to use this as a tool for liberation. The fact is, we need attorneys. The fact is, we need doctors. We're not in some remote village where all the medicine's gonna come from trees, and we have a just society where we have some type of board or a council of elders that are gonna make sure that everything is right and just. We live in a capitalist society, and capitalism is a very vicious, violent system, and we have to figure out how to survive in spite of it, despite capitalism. But so as far as Public Enemy, I don't think that they did a disservice. I think that the good outweighs the bad, and that's how we got to measure things. Now later on with Flavor Flav, of course, in any movement, they look for the weakest link. They look for whoever can be co-opted. They look for, and that can be in the party. It could be in the Republic of New Africa. It could be in RAM, Deacons of Defense, whoever. The fact is, they're going to look and they're going to seek out, okay, who can we tap into? So what they did, they toppled Griff because of the fact that they knew that, Griff wasn't going to close his mouth. Griff was going to call it like he saw it. And if it made folks think that he was, off or whatever the case, that's what they was going to capitalize off of. They knew that Flavor Flav, he was the thought of as the cat that would be, I'm not even going to call him a buffoon. I'm not even gonna call him a character. I think that he was more realistic for many people who exist in urban America. You know what I'm saying? He was more of that brother in the hood, the cat that drink, that smoke, that's just out there. But they utilized that, they capitalized off it, and he became a tool to further drive us into degradation with the whole reality TV show thing. So MTV, VH1, all of them, they took that and they used it to make it as an effort to say to the world that, look, see, y'all listen to that Public Enemy stuff. Look at their man. Look at what he doing. You know what I'm saying? They talking about white folks. He got a white woman. He messing with Sylvester Stallone woman, so on and so forth. But all that's game, man. We have to back up on the judgment a little bit and figure out where can we meet our people. And if we're true about our liberation, we got to meet our people where they at. And you muted again, brother. You rapping real hard. You doing your thing. We don't know what you're talking about.
I said sorry, sister Rukia said, what do you think about what brother Kalonji said? Because Flavor Flav is part of a reality of the African community. You have Flavor Flav everywhere. But maybe you have something to say about this deep reflection the brother made.
No, I mean, I completely agree with Brother Kalonji. And, we have a saying here where we try to engage in this new transformative model of developing our culture and our character and our ability to create self-liberated spaces, right? Where we do away with this idea of liberalism, but we also recognize that our people have suffered some of the worst mental and physical abuse that has ever happened to a people in the history of this world. And as a result, we see our people moving in certain ways that are harmful to themselves, right? We see how Flavor Flav in a desire for potential economic gain and just like a little power, a little personal power, right? Has acted in ways that were destructive to not only his character, but the character of our people and the legitimacy or the power of our movement. And so I completely agree with Brother Kalonji. I also add, though, that we believe in this idea that we don't throw away our people. So, Flavor Flav represents a real reality of where some people are and the struggles that we have to help them overcome when they're ready to overcome them, if they ever get to that place. We also recognize that people have autonomy, right? And we're not about to push nobody into a place they don't want to be in because it won't work in the first place, right? But always being right there and ready for them when they're ready to shift, right? When they're ready to make that shift in their way of being in their life. So we got to always create the opportunities. And I think that what we saw with Brother Flavor Flav is, a destruction of character for fame and economic gain. And we always have to fight against that and create alternatives to that. What does it look like to create the desire for people to not engage in a self-fulfilling path?
Yes. I definitely what the sister said. I agree with this situation. One of the issues that it was make me as because I'm personal friend of grief. We have this friend since I was young. But what I'm seeing that the media, the white media, always was talking about the negative thing of Flavor did. Every negative actions that any black celebrity do, the media resulted them. And when you are a young black boy, you are African boy, you are grow up, you only listen negative things about the celebrities, and you think that why. But when the white celebrities do something, they don't put in a negative way what they do. Always they said that who killed that, who married that, always like this, I was Akinyele was in the Lakers, but I was bad boy. I was Detroit Piston, and we was we was playing against them, and they was always telling that. The Detroit Pistons do that bad. They beating people. They do that. They killing. I think this is part of a tradition of negative mainstream of African people.
Like brothers froze.
See what's going on. Go ahead, bro.
No. You just froze for a second. Yeah, I mean, just to add on to what you're saying, I think that one of the grave errors we make, I think, is organizers and freedom fighters. Of course, we want to use whatever tool we can to advance our liberation movement, right? We want to, if there's a certain artist that's going to endorse the liberation of Asada, or they're going to endorse Mumia or whatever, so on and so forth, we use that as a tool because we're trying to attract the masses. But what we don't do, and what we won't do, and what we can't do, is look to these artists or these entertainers as leadership. And I think that's a grave error. The only place that works is in American politics. They can take a Ronald Reagan who's an actor. They can take Donald Trump who's an actor. You can take what's my man named Jesse the Body Ventura or an Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they can make it work in their best interest because they're not really the minds behind the machine. They're actually the face of the machine. So they're puppets, and they'll dance and do whatever they need to do. And you hate them, you love them, either or, that's your thing. But the reality is that only works in a capitalist society. For us, it does not work. In fact, it causes more confusion because we literally are running around angry and upset because an entertainer didn't say what we would like them to say. Mm-hmm. The one thing Sister Rukia just talked about is having our own autonomy, right? Now, it's one thing to be a part of a movement, but it's another thing for us to be walking around talking about we trying to get free. Mm-hmm. Now, it's a contradiction if I'm trying to get free, but I'm trying to oppress you at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? Who are we trying to get free from? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So freedom is relative. we have to decide how do we go about self-determination. You know what I'm saying? And with that self-determination, how can we come with some uniformity? We don't have to be on the same page, but we have to be on the same book. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a member of Malcolm X Grassroots. I understand their mission, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to agree 100% with their movement, but I do agree with the fact that, you know, their principles, the core, that's what I'm talking about. Any personal stuff, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. We all not going to like certain things. You know what I'm saying? You don't like certain types of food. You don't like certain types of people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to hate you because you like a certain type of woman or a certain type of man. That's your own personal business. Like Malcolm said, you know, put our religion on the shelf and come out swinging. You know what I'm saying? What you eat don't make me use the bathroom. So we have to be mature enough to grow into genuine movement. Because right now, the unfortunate thing is we're clicked up. It's a cliquish type thing. You know what I mean? So instead of me trying to reach out to you like, hey, what do you mean by such and such? Like, I ain't effing with him, I ain't effing with her, because you ain't gonna get free like that. If we keep moving like we're moving in these little silos, we can't expect to win. It's impossible. In fact, it's counter-revolutionary to an extent. So, you know, I don't have time to bang on. You know, I try to be patient with the artists, and I have to remind myself that it's entertainment for entertainment purposes only. Now, if there comes along an artist that happens to have their politics right, if there ever comes along a Paul Robeson, then that's a different story. You understand what I'm saying? But no offense to all of these quote unquote conscious revolutionary rappers that I know personally. I love them, shout out to them, all that type of stuff. I dig your music, but you're not my leader. You understand what I'm saying? And it's okay. It ain't personal. Just because I disagree with something don't mean that, you know, we enemies. We can still be comrades. I don't, you know, we have allies. I try to steer away from the allies. I'm looking for more comrades these days.
That's
allies
right.
are cute. You're gonna be an ally, you know, lay your bodies on the line or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Give up all your resources, you know. But if not, then, you know, I need comrades, because the ally can, you know, switch whenever they see fit.
That's right. That's right. You know, I'll just add to that. I think we can't rely on a media that has never meant to provide us with real information, right? And so I don't care if you're a Black person in the U.S. or a Black person in Spain, right? Or a Black person, honestly, on the continent, right? We're talking about, you know, you could see that in South Africa and Nigeria and so many other places. The media that is in control of the narratives on a mainstream tend to be media that is about that dollar. It's about creating a sense of urgency, of fear, to attract people to continue to watch it. And oftentimes we are the subject of that, right? And so it's fear Black people. It's demean us in our movements, demean us in our ability to lead, demean us in our ideas, to make us look as if we do not have the competency to actually govern, to actually be responsible as human beings in this world. And I think we continue to prove them wrong over and over and over again, because despite them creating that narrative, we continue, for the majority of us, to show other narratives, right? To show other realities, right? Where we are leading, where we are, you know, they can't kick us out of the entertainment industry because we are, you know, so capable and competent to share, and our artistic expression is just so bold, so beautiful, just so like authentically amazing, like, right, like they can't get rid of us, so they continue to try to demean us, right, to make us feel less than, and to make people feel as if we are still a lesser race and lesser people. So I just say don't rely on the media. It's that simple for me. Like, and I think that's that. Just like our people don't rely on cops, we don't rely on media, and I think that's what we have to continue to push.
No question.
Absolutely, sister. The question between cops in the media now is very more it's very more same like how we see, because many media they reproduce the statement of the cops in the radios, in the TVs, They never make investigation about if this black man killed somebody. They just take the information, they send them from the police officer, they send information, they reproduce in the radio, on the TV. This is one of them discussion we have in the African Journalists Association in Spain many times. It was when we started the association that somebody said, no, we can reproduce this kind of statement because we must know, because we are black people, we know what they talk about us. How you can reproduce statements telling that some black people, because it was fighting, they say gangs. No, it's not like gangs. It's two people fighting. This is not gangs. This is not, this capacity that also Brother Kalonji said, the sister said, is very deep, mature, political mature, because we need very political mature to see all these questions you was talking about, because we still, as sister say, taking narrative of a less master, because this narrative is global. Everywhere you go, attacking black people in Colombia, they kill about 3,000 black men. In Brazil, 4,000. And we're talking about leftist government, progressive government. We don't talk about, all the kind of government, And when those journalists from Colombia, from Brazil, who are in Spain, they never mentioned that the people who was killing is black. They only said that violence, like something who don't have color, don't have this kind of a narrative. And I think so. One of the things music and Public Enemy especially did in hip hop, it was that he put black people as a center of the discussion. In sometimes that that this is happened with you, it's not happened with other people, and give you the opportunity. So we're gonna going to finish this special and important show. As you know, we are celebrating the 35th anniversary of the founding of the Black Panther Party in Spain, and I want to remember the brothers who was founding this organization. Both brothers Serafine Sono. Another brother was Jose Antonio Mola. And another brother was Tommy Andeme. Another brother was the brother they call an Antonio, and Javier Ciale, Serafin, and me, and those brothers we was in the university at the University of in Alcalá Labor University. And we saw how skinhead Nazis coming to kill black people free, and every weekend those happen. And we have the lucky to meet Malcolm X in that time, because it was a time when we meet Malcolm with Winnie Mandela. Winnie Mandela was the leader of a movement. So as people see the films with Mandela like great leaders, that is very new. That is making by Hollywood. In my time, it was Winnie, who we didn't know. We didn't see Mandela's face after he realized from the preacher. So I want to tell you that I'm very happy for this show, because Public Enemy was one of the great influence of many of those young people who went to the Alcalá Labor University. They organized, and one of the 6 gangs of Madrid that was united and to build the party. So I want to thank everybody who was in this show, especially Sister Rukia, because I know that you are doing too much work now, deep work there. And Brother Kalonji, he made 3 shows. I was in his show this morning, and this is your 3rd show. I mean, you have another show now. So, so you
2 more today.
Yes. And Brother Akinyele, he went to the class. He have a class in Georgia State University, and the sister going on. I want to thank all of you for this important show, and the people listen, see us in many other places. And I want to give all of you 1 minute to close this the master degree on Public Enemy. Go ahead, Kalonji, and then Sister Rukia.
All right. Yeah, I just want to say we must always keep in mind that we say that you know, we the establishment is our enemy, right? We always talk about we know that the media is the propaganda arm of the establishment, and we know that the police are the military arm of the establishment, right? So of course we shouldn't trust them. It'd be very foolish because it's their machine, right? It's just like me having a box and you mad because I won't play your music. You know what I'm saying? We have to consistently work towards building our own propaganda machines and setting the record straight. I also like to just say to you, Abuy and Sister Rukia, that you know, stay safe out there, man, because it's real. And I think that you know, it's unfortunate. We give a lot of talks, we deal with a lot of people, we organize, so on and so forth. But I think that sometimes we forget the impact and the terror that we're up against. You know, it's not a show. It's not just us sitting around kicking the willy bobo and talking. I knew your parents, and I know folks like Baba Chokwe put in serious work. You know what I'm saying? And it's our responsibility to continue that legacy in the best way we can. You know, folks like Ia Fulani Suni Ali, who is like a godmother to me. You know what I'm saying? Her and Baba Bilal. We have to keep that tradition. We have to keep that work. But we got to be, one thing I remember Mama Fulani said something to me. I said, man, you know, people think we crazy or whatever. She said, well, I'd rather they think that I was crazy than to be naive.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? You know, you could be thought of as crazy and alive and naive and be dead because of the fact that you're thinking that you're dealing with a just and righteous system. So I want to say to you, brother and sister, you know, I pray with the strength of the ancestors that you are protected, that you are safe, and that we're able to organize and win, not based on ego, not based on you down with this or I'm down with that. We need each other right now, more so than ever before. So I wanted to say that.
Ashe, amen.
Ashe, Uhuru, Ashe, free the land, Black Power. Anyway.
Thank you.
Okay.
Much needed prayer at a very difficult time for all of us across this world. And, you know, right here also in Jackson, you know, even the act right now of us giving out water to our people, of us trying to literally ensure that a fragile old water plant that hasn't been restored in over 100 years is put into a position where we continue to use it, right? Even that is an act that is threatening to our state government, and as a result causes us to be at jeopardy, right? For the act of just trying to save ourselves. And so I just really want to thank you for that prayer just now, for those words, for lifting us up, all of us, not only on this call, but all the work that we're doing, because it's real. And, you know, as I jump off, I want to also give both of you all thanks for continuing to really be a space where we can continue to have these conversations, where we're continuing to be educated and to educate each other, right? And to do so in a way where we're able to organize more broadly and connect with more of our people. I think these conversations are really necessary. And I appreciate the opportunity to participate in them. Brother, we're going to get you another book to read about the work and struggle that's actually happening here and the way forward.
Akinyele told me that. I know.
And because we really want true stories to be told, right? We want folks to know what is really happening and the hard work that we're putting in on a daily to live the legacy, to like fulfill the mandate that Queen Mother Moore and Sister Ia Fulani and my parents, Nubia and Shokwe Lumumba, and all of those that sacrificed, Baba Ahmed Obafemi, like all of those that sacrificed, you know, like all so much, you know, our dear comrade and and warrior sister Asada, who's still in exile, right? You know, our loved ones who spent decades incarcerated because they were fighting for the work that we're doing right now in Jackson just to give people water, right? Like Baba Subiata Akoli, like Baba Matulu, who's still inside Matulu Shakur, like, you know, just so many of our elders, you know, and those that, because they just had a thought, because they believed in liberation, like Mumia, who's still behind bars just for his academic brilliance, right? Like, you know, because we were pushing that. And so, you know, it is our responsibility. It is a mandate. And so we're going to continue doing this work. And I'm going to hold on to what you said, Brother Kalonji, because we cannot forget that every act is an act that might be considered a threat.
Without a question. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it. I want to give Sister Cecilia, she's the technique in Argentina. Sister Cecilia, please, you have 1 minute to give thanks to those people that you really mentioned. Adelante, Cecilia. Hola. ¿No estás ahí, no?
I mean, yes.
Sí, Cecilia, tienes 1 minuto para decir algo sobre lo que estamos hablando.
Muchísimas gracias por habernos hecho
partícipes
de este conversatorio tan importante y tan significativo para nosotros, como lo es Publi Enemy, desde la cual... Sí, aquí, bueno, estaba diciendo eso, que muchísimas gracias por hacernos partícipes.
We would like to thank everybody to make us participate in this.
En este conversatorio que es tan importante para nosotros.
This is so important for us.
Publi Enemy marcó mi adolescencia también.
Public Enemy make mark in his teenage years.
Y a pesar de que, bueno, estamos en una provincia y en un país donde quizás el hip hop no es y no pisa tan fuerte como en Estados Unidos, aquí la conciencia negra, o por lo menos nosotros así, lo tomamos gracias al hip hop y gracias a Publi Enemy por su mensaje. De aquí, desde la Cuarta Pan-Africanista, Argentina, un saludo para todos. Uhuru.
We would like to say that here in San Juan, Argentina, the province, that the hip hop message is not so strong, because the reality is that there were not a lot of black people around there. So the black consciousness and the Pan-Africanist consciousness has been very formed by Public Enemy here in her teenage years, even if she doesn't know before she know what he was listening to. So she would like to thank. We would like to thank to Abuy, to the sister and the brothers to make us part of this. It's very important for us. Very important to continue the legacy of Public Enemy and talk about the black consciousness and the black message. So thank you everybody. Uhuru.
Uhuru, free the land and everybody. So thank you for that. Sister is from Pan-African Movement in Argentina. She's very, very happy to be in this show. And Kalonji, Akinyele, Sister Nkechi, and other people, as Kalonji said, I think we must write, I don't know, write or films, who is better, but we must do something about the narrative of the spirit of these people like Chokwe, you know, Army Chokwe in 1990 when a Million Men March took place. I was Rastamana. Now I don't have nothing, but so we must to keep this legacy. We must to keep all these people in books, in films. I don't know, in music, because the young people is coming. They are they are drill or the kind of music, you know, and this is different. So we must to try to keep it. I think the job the sisters doing in the Jackson, the job for Kalonji is doing with the media, Akinyele and sister, that is the way. I'm waiting for the next Kalonji book. I'm waiting. And and as sister said, Akinyele explained me everything about this book is realized in Spain. One of the brothers of the Pan-African movement, they call Kwame Ondo, was the translator of the writers of the book, and so we need other book about what's going on. So I hope to, sister. Thank you very much to come into this show. Free the land.
Free the land.
Free the land.
All right, y'all be safe. Peace.
Yeah, peace.
Guru.
All those African people don't go. Okay, people go. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay.
We finished. Terminamos entonces.
Hemos acabado ya.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining.